Okay, I think we're live. Really, really bad idea this morning.
Yep, always a bad idea.
I was up till one, and then I went to sleep till 3, and then I got up and I looked at my phone and I was like so frightened. I got out of bed and I stayed up reading papers and reading this new book until 6:30, and then I went back to bed. And then you woke me up at 9 or something at 8. I don't know. It's really bad. I hope this coffee works. Am I actually talking?
Let's hope. Let's hope the coffee works before you have to try something harder like meth.
Yeah. Did I say all that all loud?
Yeah.
Fuck. It was pretty tense last night, but oh my god, the president of the United States gets on and says people are stealing the election by counting votes.
What?
Okay, it's a democracy, and the president basically said that they're stealing the election by counting votes. Right?
That's kind of a retarded statement, but okay.
That's kind of what he said. He said, "We won, but they're still counting votes." So he's basically saying that we're stealing the election from him because we're still counting votes.
Apparently.
I mean, in a democracy, the last thing you want to do is count votes, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Trump will claim victory until the moment he doesn't win, and even then, he'll still claim victory because he's a delusional fuckwad.
oh god, are we gonna have to put up with him in the fucking media for years to come?
Huh?
Or are we gonna have to put up with him in the media if he loses for years to come?
No, he'll be behind bars.
Yeah, they never actually do that to anybody.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this time around, he'll pretty much guaranteed to be punished.
It would be good, but I don't know.
I'd like that faith in our justice system, although given its reputation, I wouldn't put money on it.
I'm normally not for this sort of thing, but they should put him behind bars just for being in such poor taste as he always is. I mean,
They shouldn't even put him in a jail. They should put him under the jail.
under the jail. Yeah. Did you see the show picture today?
Let me check. I am always late to see what thumbnail you have uploaded for the video.
Thumbnail. So, who the fuck is that? Oh, Standing for Truth.
All right, that's a good one.
That's a picture of him last night talking to when he did his speech.
Makes him look like a sumo wrestler almost.
It's pretty cool. Anyway. Oh, let's see here.
Where's Minnie Keene when you need him? Where's our run-of-the-mill flamboyant personality?
Where's our foreign correspondent? I wonder if Ian's around. Let's see. Oh yeah, Ian might be late. Is it late? No, Ian's sleeping, I think. We are not over. I'm dying.
Yeah, aren't we all? We're all naturally degrading to a state of death. Mine probably won't do that till another 70 or so years, but it'll happen eventually.
I'm all congested, and it's like there's feathers in my lungs.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Like feathery things.
Feathery things.
Feathery things, like maybe. Oh, fuck up.
Well, you did have a bird flying around your house a few days ago, so. Hey, there's David.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good to hear, good to hear.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. You're on Bluetooth right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey,
little bit
everyone.
weak. Hi.
Say hi to my boyfriend. Hi.
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
boyfriend.
I'm alright. How you doing?
I'm choking to death. I brought in a handful of milkweed seeds and a whole bunch of other seed pods yesterday for my microscope. That's probably not a good idea for somebody who has allergies.
Oh, you have allergies. Well, that's not a good idea.
Well, I never did until it's like I think everybody gets them when you get older. Eventually, your immune system says, "Tired of this fucking pollen. I'm going to choke you."
There's times where your immune system just goes berserk on itself and just causes more damage to you than you can cause damage to you.
I think so. So, what the fuck? What was I going to say? Oh, Ian, not Ian. Yeah, Ian Cam went on Standing for Truth's video, the one he did on, what the hell was it called? Not even close to being, I think it was not even close to being done with these evolutionists.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a couple of comments, and one of them, let's see, I wonder what order they're in. Let's see, flash the paper. Okay. So, yeah, see if I can share this.
Yep.
And he got blocked for these comments. Standing removed his comments.
Ah.
Which is, let's see. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not overly doxing anybody.
Color me shocked, anybody?
Dox a dox. Oh, I gotta do John's thing.
No. Well, if you want to go to my house.
God damn it. Okay. So I randomly stopped the stream, is what Ian said, and at 3128 puts out a paper, Human Y Chromosome Variations in the Genome Sequencing Era. And he listened to the paper, and then Ian said basically, you should have read the conclusion. There are two versions of the paper. One is a draft form where they do mention 15,000 years, but both papers, even the published form, mention 60,000 years ago. There's nothing in this paper that represents what Standing was saying in the video. It has nothing to do, there's nothing in here that makes a case for creationists. Yet he flashed his paper up and said, yeah, you guys got to read this paper.
You know, it's almost like when we tell Standing and all his other people, if you read beyond the abstract and you actually look at what the paper says, it's probably going to disagree with what you think it says.
But the abstract didn't even say anything that supports his case.
I mean, the fundamental error here is that we're expecting them to read.
I know. So then Ian went on to the second paper, and let's see, Insights into Human Genetic Variation, Population, and History from 929, and that's by Bergstrom. And it was the same thing. It said, once again, rather than read the abstract, read the conclusion. And, this paper has nothing that supports young Earth creationism, and Standing keeps popping it up. Well, then, let's see what happened next. I think he said, he has one other little thing here that he pops up, but I don't have it loaded. One more comment from me. In small correction, the AIG journal is a journal from the okay. So that's AIG. As to why evolutionists don't publish there, it's because ARJ only accepts papers that are either confirm the Eck model, or if not, proposes an alternative way to confirm the model. And he put out another link, and then they deleted all his comments. But I mean, what did he say there that you would have removed his comments? What was so offensive about that?
You know, it's offensive. It's the fact that somebody actually bothered checking Standing source material and actually pointed out the fact that, that's not what the source actually says.
Right. And that's enough to get him taken down. And Stanley has been mad at Ian for quite some time.
But remember, according to Smoky and all the other people, these people are not censoring us.
Right. Yeah. Not at all.
But we somehow are censoring them. That's curious.
And absolutely amazing. Amazing. Huh?
I'll be back later. See you guys
Oh,
later.
okay.
All right, enjoy, have some brunch or something.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got back for brunch.
Oh,
There we go.
I don't know how long we're gonna be on this morning. As long as I can stand it, I guess.
Well, Speed will probably have to take some hardcore stimulants, and we'll be here for a while.
Oh, this coffee's pretty hardcore.
I don't know. It's pretty vanilla to some of the other stuff you could make.
Yeah, I can't make other stuff. I know that.
I mean,
Stuff
not saying you can't, just saying it's probably not a idea if you can.
right. So Nestleg, is Nestleg in our chat?
Is Nestle in our chat? I don't think he is. I haven't seen him yet. Eric is, Icarus is, Minnie is. Why is Minnie not joining us today?
I don't know why Manny's not joining us. He's got to be. Maybe he's working. I'm not sure. Manny's got to do. Okay. Yay, boyfriend. Don't scream and drive. Maybe you finally watch that show. Hang on a second. Let Scott may join us. Scott said Scott Wade.
So do you want to address the, did you actually read the email Otangelo sent?
Oh my God. That was so bad. We could put that up.
I genuinely just had to laugh at that because it really did ultimately demonstrate to me that Otangelo just doesn't read.
No.
And that Otangelo just does not pay attention to anything.
No comprehension, whatever, no, man. I can't believe it. Let's see. Reply, okay, and we're still going on. And we're all going on. Oh, yeah, midnight.
He's backstage.
Man, so
Good evening, gentlemen. Okay, not evening. Good morning. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a little chipper.
Yep.
Immutable, I feel loved. I'm so touched.
Oh boy, Pete Broni's in a room. There we go.
Wait, hold on. What? It's also Brony. I'm so confused.
Well, he's showing affection, so I can only imagine that means a few things.
Well, just because somebody shows affection doesn't mean they're a Brony. Jesus Christ! Wow. What a general. I don't even know what the fuck.
You have to be far-reaching with these people, okay? They're not exactly normal.
Says the person who was a Brony himself. Fuck off.
Oh, shh. Now you're doxing. Now you're doxing.
How is that doxing?
You neither confirm nor deny the allegations that were just made towards my character.
You just confirmed it though. You could have just said no, I'm not, and left it at that.
Fuck you.
Come on. You have to admit it's better than being miserable.
Okay, you know what? That's a fair point.
By the way, Demeter wants to do a Q&A. He said he was listening to us talk about ABio. I think the protein common ancestor thing.
Yeah.
He said there are a few things that he would like to, I think, straighten us out on. I'm not sure.
Does he think proteins all share a common ancestor?
No, I don't think so. But,
okay, good. Just wanted to clear that out of the way.
There was something with the conversation we had that he thought he could help, and so he wants to do an open, kind of an open Q&A on this weekend.
Isn't that an interesting question, though?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, no, like you mentioned all proteins have a common ancestor, but I don't know. That got me thinking. Is there like a first protein? I don't know. That question got me thinking, but I can't formulate the question well enough.
Well, yeah, that's probably something that that an average person may think of, but they usually don't. Usually, you think in terms of a common ancestor, it's going to be some sort of a cell.
Well, no, right. But I'm talking about I'm talking about do the proteins that that all life makes on Earth, have they been consistent for the past 3.8 billion years, or is there proteins that haven't really? I don't know. That Immutable got me thinking on that. I know the whole using the word common ancestor makes no sense, but it's wait a minute.
Yeah,
Actually the concept of this idea of all proteins sharing a universal ancestor Actually, it's a kind of interesting idea, but I mean, I
Yeah,
think
that's why that's why you got me thinking. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no, I mean, I think it's interesting because in Demeter's model, the question I'd like to ask, and I think it's a perfectly natural step, is in asking the question of, well, so when these peptides are produced, I mean, they're not very long. They're maybe at maximum like 10 in length. What exactly is the is the favorite activity of these peptides? Is it to catalyze and enhance already existing autocatalytic cycles? Is it to maintain the integrity of the of an RNA strand? What exactly is the what activity does that peptide have in pertains to its role in while it's in the cell?
Yeah.
And furthermore, I mean, how does suppose it's responsible for aiding or stabilizing an RNA strand, right? So that this process can occur more readily.
Well, for stabilizing an RNA strand, just requires a small section that just hooks up and matches. And I think arginine was important in that.
Yeah, and I think the natural question is, if in some way the peptide plays a role in stabilizing either the protein or the genetic material itself, how do these proteins evolve, or how do these proteins make different proteins whose activity are devoted to optimizing metabolism or something like that?
Well, at some point there has to be. Okay, first of all, in Demeter's model, unless I'm really, really wrong, there are quintillions of different mRNAs that are going to be produced all over.
Right.
So the proteins, basically, and the same with peptides, and the proteins are going to evolve out of that mess, or life's going to evolve out of that mess. There is no single protein that's going to mutate into other proteins. You could be really dumb and ask, why don't all 20 amino acids evolve from one common amino acid ancestor?
Right.
This doesn't make any sense.
It seems like if that's the case, right, if these proteins are stabilizing mRNAs, then what's going to happen is kind of an amalgam of these different proteins is going to constitute something like a microribosome.
Yeah.
And I think responsible for chemical activity of some form.
Well, micro tRNAs, and that's all you need is a tRNA. So all you would need is some pathway to create the same tRNA over and over again, or a lot of them.
Yeah,
it would lock into a 3 position.
I do find it very interesting that life seems to have quote unquote chosen only 20 for it to function, whereas isn't there like 500 amino acids?
Something like
in these 20?
Very large.
Well, there's an infinite number of them, but the reason you ended up with 20 is that 20 provided a sufficient Lego set to build anything, and the rest of them just kind of fell off. Along with that, there may have been other tRNAs that encoded differently, but eventually it all just settled down into that 20. But if you look at the properties of that 20, they're really well distributed between polar, non-polar. What is it?
You might say they were well designed.
Yeah, well, but I mean, they just naturally apportion, to this group of Legos that you seem to be able to do anything with. It's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, like you can actually extend that to atoms as well. I know we're talking about amino acids, but
Brainbug is shouting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting to kind of think about, especially with Demeter's model, kind of where the next steps go from this. I mean, okay, so you have something that is able to explain the origin of the genetic code, but now it's a matter of getting that genetic code to be robust and to get enough diversity to start evolving reliably, I guess.
Yep.
So Nestle the other day recommended a book. That was him, right? They recommended this book.
Yep.
The origin and nature of life on Earth. I ordered it, and it came yesterday. And this book This book is pretty incredible. This book requires.
Can you
some-
show it? Can you show it off?
I'm not going to turn my fucking camera on. I had no idea what I looked like this morning. I just crawled out of bed, stuffed a bunch of
Okay, now-
decongestants and coffee down my throat.
What was the name of the book again?
I'll write it in the cat thing. Or the origins and nature of life on Earth.
Okay.
You know, come to think of it, probably the way some proteins began to evolve is probably by duplication in some way. Because there are instances of new proteins evolving out of duplication. Like the famous example of E. coli being able to metabolize citrate is the result of gene duplication.
Okay, so the reason I mentioned this book is he gets into.
Found it. Holy shit, it's expensive.
Oh, it is expensive, but he gets into geology and inorganic chemistry and the cycles of the Earth and stars, and he has a theory about how life is this interface between two energy systems or something, and it's kind of amazing. The emerging of a biosphere from geochemistry is one of the sections. The
amazing.
oligomer world and molecular replication, large deviations and thermodynamic limits, and it's a pretty technical. It's a very technical book.
Life cannot exist. Life cannot exist due to the second law of thermodynamics. Therefore, a designer had to do it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially when you consider how many ways life can make itself go extinct, or just how sensitive are some organisms have to be with their environment.
I find it
You know,
fucking
wait,
amazing
wait.
that 99. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, but then I
Ready?
guess I'll go. I said I find it fucking
well-
amazing how 99% of life, has what. God damn it! Go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, my dad, when he was in the army, he worked at the armory, and one of the things he did was take care of fix rifles, and he would fix AK-47s, and of course AK-47s are designed, however, coming from communists from the Soviet hand. So what happened was that you had, like, he told me, you had this one part with a million different versions. So they would have to, like, they would have 6, 7, 10 versions of the same exact part, and then they would write down the serial number of every rifle that came in, so that they could the designed. It's supposed to be identical, right? Because it's designed. And
Right.
done manually, it's apparently you get a really, really, really shit stuff. So like this one screw would only fit this gun and that gun, but not those. So
Well, no, but
common
see, there's a
design is-
difference. Yeah, they would say, well, there's a difference between a human designer and a divine designer. A divine designer is perfect in every way and makes no mistakes. If a child gets cancer, it was designed that way.
Of course it was.
What's kind of interesting about life is that
You
it's
can
not like
prove it.
you're trying to. Whoop. What's kind of
I'm saying, can you prove it wasn't?
yeah. What's kind of curious about life itself is that life kind of operates on a principle of kind of like it's good enough type of design principle. So especially like
Yeah,
when
it
you're
works.
like when you're inhibiting a molecule or something like that, as long as there's like a minimal amount of chemical like interactions that are taking place, it's essentially good enough. It might not be optimal, but it works.
Yeah,
And-
life is basically like computers. It works, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Just
Basically.
leave it alone.
Yeah. It's very rare that when you touch it, it actually gets better at doing what it's supposed to do. But occasionally it does happen.
One might say life is the blind watchmaker, or what else did I use? Life is AI. I don't know. That last one is a little explaining, but whatever. Life is life. I don't care. It's interesting.
life is really interesting. Sometimes it has like little missteps, and then sometimes it does really interesting things. But other times you just look at it and it's like, okay, that was kind of stupid. I mean, if this was trying to be optimal, it should have done this other thing, but because common ancestry has to be obeyed and things can't, go beyond that, yeah, I can understand why that happened.
Yeah,
I've always
worked with what it had.
Yeah, I've always loved Kent Ham's misunderstanding about it. An elephant can't turn into a tree or some shit. Their misunderstanding of evolution it's funny, but it's sad. You know what I mean?
Well,
It is so sad.
What's also
My favorite is when they go like someone decided to grow a wing, and why haven't we all turned into X-Men? Those are my favorites.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm glad they haven't done that.
we're not in an environment to become X-Men yet. Give it a few more centuries.
Yeah.
Okay, when Kent Hovind says that bullshit about pine trees and whatever, or you coming from a pine tree, that is a person with a naive level of education. He doesn't even have a high school biology education.
I'm surprised he can speak, actually.
Okay, so and then he comes up with something stupid like that, right? Well, what they said the other day about proteins having a common ancestor indicates another level of naivete that you have when you really don't understand the biochemistry and molecular biology. You read evolution books and papers like Sal Cordova has and Standing for Truth had, but they don't understand the real deep basics about what's going on. So they come up with
this is just naive. I mean, this is just
naive.
I mean, it's not like Sal hasn't had an education like cell bio and stuff like that. But I mean, this is just like a very elementary error for anybody who studied cell biology at all. It's like how exactly, and especially because you're an educated person, how do you think that's what we believe? Especially when you understand the basis of proteins and their activity.
That's what I mean. These guys, they do not study this in order to learn about it. They study it in order to fortify their model of the Bible. They're not coming at it.
Basically, they're looking. They're just waiting for some excuse to knock you down.
I mean, that's a basic error. I can understand somebody who took Biochem 1 making, because you don't fully learn about how proteins are the way they are and why, and kind of the, if you want to call it design principles for proteins, turns out to make them the way they are. But it's just, it's like a senior physicist asking what a derivative is.
But I studied high school biology, and they don't teach evolution in Israel mostly. They just don't. They sort of skip it. And then I took when I was doing neuroscience, I also took some biology classes were included in that. I never studied evolution at formally, but what's so difficult to understand? It's really simple and elegant and so easy.
And it's
the concept. I mean, not when you guys go into genetics, and I can't follow you. But
no, it's the concept of evolution is something that a 5-year-old can understand.
Right.
But it's the details, the nitty-gritty of it is it's intense, but the core concept, it's just it's very simple to follow. But somehow Sal manages to just completely miss the basic steps of his training and just ask that question. And it's
and if you listen,
I don't remember in which of their Christian anti-evolution movies they have that. There's this female professor, and she says people who don't get evolution have no imagination.
Oh,
and they
that's-
quote it as if she
that's
said
true.
that you need to imagine, like
That's
evolution isn't real in your imagination. But I think she's correct. I think it's
Lynn
it's lack of imagination.
That's Lynn Margulis. Is that how you pronounce it? Margulis. She was the one.
Margolis, probably that's a real name. Yeah.
Yeah, she was the one that basically figured out endosymbiosis. You know, the mitochondria coming from.
Yeah.
And she was brilliant, and she was very much out of the box, and she was pushing for an extended synthesis sort of evolution, and so they can quote mine the hell out of her because she said a lot of other things too that they love to quote. But she was something
Yeah,
else.
but I think it really is lack of imagination, and not imagination as in we make it up, but as in being able to envision it, being able to
just,
I don't know.
I mean, use your imagination creatively. I mean, it's the thing is,
We
like,
always, if you learn something, you necessarily have to use your imagination to use that something that you've learned, right? You learn about wood, you learn about nails and hammers, and then you imagine a table and you build it. Fucking imagination, they make it sound like it's a bad thing. They also make religion sound like a bad thing, right?
yeah,
When
it's
you
just,
say-
that's also the curious thing. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because like when they talk about religion, it's like, oh, evolution is the most dangerous religion on the face of the planet. Like it's going to harm people. It's going to yada 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 yada. And it's like, okay, so wait, religions are bad things then, right? Like, is that what you're arguing for? Because
No, bad religions are bad. They have the good religion.
Are you working, Rosenbug? Can you come in? Are you busy?
It's like we have the bad religion. We have evil faith, and they have the good one.
Yeah, our faith is unjustified, but them believing in a person being resurrected from the freaking dead apparently is justified.
I love it when they go like, "Oh yeah, a person was resurrected from the dead. You mean Lazarus? No, you mean the one Elijah brought back from. And you mean Jesus? Because people were rising from the left and right.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
You know, when they read those biblical passages and they come up with, they read Genesis and they come up with created heterozygosity, that takes a lot of imagination.
The thing is, they read Genesis and they come up with stuff that I haven't even seen in Genesis before.
I know.
Okay, as someone who is slightly familiar with the Old Testament, they make shit up. There's no way, no reason, nowhere to find anything about biology in Genesis.
I know.
I'm sorry, but it says that he made a clay model and brought it to life with its breath.
Swami Das was
That's
brilliant.
all it says.
Joshua Swami Das brought that up when he was on Erica was interviewing him, and he said basically, you know, this stuff is not in the Bible. You know, this stuff that they're coming up with. I mean, even some of the basic shit they come up with in Genesis and Noah's Ark. Not that I know anything about it because I never got through. I think I made it through the first few pages of Genesis. I got to that second part where they started telling the story over again. What the fuck is that about? Why do they do that?
What, the two Noahs or the two Genesis? The two
Genesis.
creation stories?
Yeah, the two creation stories. Why the hell did they do that?
Because they're not from, apparently they're not from the same source.
Oh, because I was like,
one is from the kingdom of Israel, and one from the kingdom of Judea. I think is the main difference between the two.
as soon as I read
If you
that,
read
I thought,
it,
okay. What I thought is,
if you actually compare them, I had to do that for my final exam. I had to do a comparison between those two. That was like 22 years ago, but I still sort of remember. It's very different in the way that it describes, like in the first chapter, it's he said, and in the second one, it's like he actually gets down and dirty and does stuff. He actually makes things. He
When I
doesn't
read it,
just speak them.
when I read it, I thought this is a choose your own adventure. That's what I thought it was. Like, you remember those books? Choose your own adventure?
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I thought the Bible was when I read the two accounts of Genesis.
Those were the first books. No, the first book I read was that I bought myself was The Never-Ending Story. But then Make Your Own Adventure was the second. I bought like I don't know how many of those books, and then by mistake I bought Zelazny and fell in love.
Oh shit! My son just asked me to ask Siri to play you the news from NPR and tell me it's not the end of the world.
Well, it depends.
Trump so far is lagging, right?
Barely.
It was they're getting closer as they count more votes.
Well, with the states that they have picked right now as blue and red, Biden is at 270. But that's just any change in that picture.
I have zero understanding of how your system works.
Me
Nor do
too.
I think it's entirely retarded.
I think they made it up.
Here we're like, we have this very, very simple system. We vote. They count it. Every so many votes are worth one seat. And that's it.
In Australia,
120 seats. And that's it.
In Australia, it's illegal not to vote. You can actually be arrested, I think, if you do it twice, if you don't vote twice.
That I would disagree with quite heavily. I mean,
I don't know.
No, you are making that up, please.
I don't. That's what Ian told me. He said it's illegal not to vote. Everybody, it's mandatory to vote. They want to hear everybody's choice.
That's a bit cuckoo.
I don't know.
Actually,
it sort of like makes everybody have to make a choice about how they want to be governed. Everybody gets a part. I don't know.
Yeah, but it also, it opens up the way for really bad, like selling your vote and shit.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it would be kind of weird. But that was interesting. He told me that last night, and I was quite surprised. But
there's an old and really, really good Israeli satirical movie.
Yeah.
And this guy comes from Iraq to Israel, and he knows shit about how Israel is run. And Israel is very European, and he's from Iraq, and he's this really like really, really simple person. And he hears that you can get stuff from the parties if you promise to vote for them. And he has zero understanding of what voting actually is, what's a democracy. He has no idea what those things mean.
Oh.
So he goes to every party, he promises to vote for them, he gets their ballot, and at the end, when he goes to the polling booth, he brings this thick envelope full of notes from all the different parties, and he doesn't understand why they won't let him vote. And then when he walks outside, all of the party members are standing there, and they take the stuff they gave him. They take everything away.
Is this a Borat movie?
No. It's called Salah Shabati. It's an Israeli movie, and a really good one.
I'm just now looking. I'm just now looking at the polling results, and Jesus, the thing is coming down way too close.
Yeah.
And if it comes close, then the electorate college gets to decide, right?
Yeah, I've already I'm steeling myself for another 4 of this son of a bitch. I think I'm just going to stop listening to media for 4 years.
No, we can't survive. Trump affects international shit as well. In my country, I don't want Trump. He's not good for my country either.
It's amazing just how much of the South has re-voted for Trump.
So the other thing that Ian was telling me is that like people in Australia and other countries are starting to look up to China and Russia as basically the way they used to look up to the United States.
Oh, that's a scary statement.
Yeah, that is a scary statement. He said that is fucking really frightening. But they actually consider China and Russia to be serious countries compared to the United States. The United States is a fucking joke everywhere. We have just fallen from our little perch.
Yeah, Walker, I agree with you. Yeah,
and nobody last night the polls that they were talking about how wrong they were about the polls, and they said they apparently forgot that half the people in this country do not see anything at all wrong with Trump's his behavior as a human being. They think it's cool. They think it's cool that he's out of the box. I mean, it's like, fuck, fucking.
Who thinks Trump is cool and out of the box?
50% of the fucking country
Jesus.
think that what he does is cool. Oh, it's so cool that he gets out there and he says anything he wants and he does anything he wants. They think that's cool. 50%
I still remember watching this. I don't remember who it was, an American talking about George W. Bush Jr. And he said, after he was reelected, and he said that he thinks it's because there's this really, really dumb yokel sitting in his farm and he sees W, and he goes like, oh my God, if that idiot can be the president, I can be king of the universe. And then he goes and votes for him.
Yep. It's amazing.
So maybe Trump gets votes that way.
Yeah. Basically, the Democratic Party also needs a real fucking kick in the ass. I mean, there are so many people that they could have ran besides Biden, besides Hillary, but they have this like pecking order. It's like, we have this senior political, and it's his turn to shine, and they fucking put him out front, and he gets his ass kicked. I mean, there are a whole lot of young, powerful, middle-of-the-road leaders that they could have picked that would have kicked Trump.
Just so you understand how lucky you guys are, in spite of Trump, in Israel, after 25 years of Benjamin Netanyahu, of Bibi, we have no left. The left has totally collapsed in Israel. There's no one opposition party. There used to be two big parties, Netanyahu's and the left, and now there isn't one. The left basically has 6 seats in out of 120.
So apparently NPR is talking about some sort of system error in our voting
system. Oh, really? They're just now figuring that out, are they? Boy.
Yeah, I wonder where that came from. Not that I'm paranoid or anything about the Republicans saying they don't want to count votes. Oh, fuck me. I'm going to take a bath, slit my wrists, have some food.
I wonder if the Russians have any involvement with this again.
What's that?
Empires come and go, and the United States, there has to come a time when some other country takes the lead. That's like a given.
Yeah, but you really want it to be Russia or China?
I'm willing to look at I'm willing to look at the idea that the South should secede from the Union, and all the Republicans can head down there, and we can have 2 countries. I think it's time we divide up. Just quit. Just quit trying to get along.
Got our lot just go.
I mean, fuck. We'll give them the South. The South is warm. It's got a lot of good desert, a lot of toads to fuck.
Hey.
I don't know. Let them go. Why the hell did we stop it the last time they tried? Oh, I know.
Yeah, but look, if life and history teaches us anything, it's just 4 more years, and then we'll see again.
Oh, Leo is here.
Nothing is like final or ultimate. No
think
matter
it's-
how ultimate these elections feel for you, there will be another one.
There
Right.
will be.
Damage
you
will
say
be
that
done.
unless Republicans
You
get
just got to
considering
wonder
that they,
what the
they
world's
have
going to
the
look like in
Senate
4
now.
more years after Trump.
If Donald Trump wins the election with Republicans still holding on to the Senate, there might not be much
because
of
now
an
this makes
election in 2024.
Idiocracy look like a reality
I don't
TV
even know if anybody
documentary.
can hear me.
Yeah, we're hearing you fine, Leo. Thank you.
We always hear you, Leo.
Also, I believe that the Wisconsin
You
election
always make your voice
commissioner
well-
just
well
called
heard.
Wisconsin for Joe Biden. So
Uh-oh. Is
the
my internet working?
Associated Press
Okay.
hasn't incorporated it into their results, but apparently
Do-do-do-do-do.
there were like 4 or 5 verified accounts on Twitter associated with numerous media sources that said that Wisconsin has been called for Joe Biden. And if obviously I'm assuming Michigan with 96% reporting will probably be called for Joe Biden. If it went from red to blue, it's gonna stay blue. And then Nevada is at 67% reporting. Joe Biden is up 49.2 to Donald Trump's 48.6. That's a 0.8% lead. So if he can maintain a lead in Nevada, that will put him at exactly 270 electoral votes. Then it doesn't matter if Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania.
Look at what Eric 311 said.
What I found amazing was that I
Yeah,
read
fake moonlight.
that in Florida, Trump lost white votes but gained Latino votes.
Well, the Latinos that
Which
voted
is
for him
really
in Florida,
weird.
the Latinos are not like Mexicans. They're Cubans. Cubans are notoriously conservative because Fidel Castro was a self-proclaimed communist, even though he wasn't really a communist. They hate authoritarians so much that they voted for one.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I mean, when you look at the demographics, they're Cubans. It's not weird. Cubans are just fucking. They're a different breed. I don't know why everybody was so shocked that Trump won Florida. I knew Trump was going to win Florida because it goes red more than it goes blue. People thought that Biden might win in Texas. I knew Trump was going to win in Texas because it's fucking Texas. People said Biden might win Iowa. Biden's not going to win Iowa. I live in Iowa. Iowa's a notoriously conservative state.
Are you doing what our creationist friends are doing and predicting? How did they call it? Retrodicting? Because predictions are supposed to be made ahead of time.
No, what I'm saying is I had predicted those being won before yesterday was even here. So, and everybody was telling me, oh, you never know. I'm like, I do know. When we can look at the past of the way that these states go, Florida, Texas, and Iowa are going to go red. And lo and behold, they went red.
This country has been under the rule of Benjamin Netanyahu for approximately 20 years. He's been the longest because we don't have a limited amount of terms that you can do. And we're still here somehow. And he still gets reelected, even though he has like a trial ahead of him for bribe and shit. And people still vote for the piece of crap, but the country is somehow surviving. So,
It's not much of a democratic state, though, is it?
What, Israel? Of course we're democratic, dude.
Well, it's as democratic as the United States is, i.e., not really for a lot of people.
No. In Israel, no, we don't. No. Israel, if you want to have problems, the most problematic thing about Israel being a democracy or not is state, church, state, religion separation. We don't have it. Religion is involved in the state.
Yeah, that's definitely not
Which
democracy.
is
That's theocracy.
it's a version of democracy.
No, that's literally theocracy. Theocracy is not inherently democratic or authoritarian or whatever. It just means the church
it's not
has a large sway
theocracy in any way.
on what the government does on legislation.
Okay, so we're not a theocracy in any way, but for instance, marriage, you can get married either through the rabbinical authorities, like through religious authorities, or you can leave the country, get married abroad, and then come back to Israel, and they acknowledge that marriage. So that, and for instance, if your last name is Cohen, you cannot marry a divorced woman in Israel. You just can't. That's not an option. Why?
Can you
Because
get
of
an
religious
abortion in
laws.
Israel? So they
Yes,
have laws on the
abortions you
books
can
that
get.
are literally based in
No,
religion.
you can get an abortion, but for reasons that you might be able to quite easily understand, there's no, for instance, gay marriage.
Yeah.
The only way to allow gay marriage is to allow civil marriage in the first place. So, and religion is funded by the country, by the state. The state gives money to synagogues and religious schools, like sort of like, let's call it a religious university, sort of. It's really weird.
Yeah, that sounds about
But-
like theocracy.
No, it's not. It's
So are you saying that the religious institutions have absolutely no sway on legislation?
well, that's just it. The religious institutions, no, but we have religious parties.
That's literally a theocracy.
Well,
Like literally, that's what a theocracy is. If you have
you know
political
what's really
parties
cool?
that are based around a religious institution, that's a theocracy.
I'll give you something way more scary than where you have to get married. You open a geography textbook for high school, and you go to where they talk about sediment, as in rain and shit. And then they tell you two different methods of making rain. One is to use silver iodine, which you put it in clouds. You see the clouds of silver iodine, and you can get rain. And the second method is the rain prayer, and this actually appears in Israeli textbooks. That farmers can pray for rain, and rain will come. That's a method for getting rain.
Interesting.
So that's way cooler than where you can get married. That's a really hard shit.
You see this bubble chart that NPR has? This is really
Yes.
cool. Yeah. And it updates. It keeps updating. So it's really cool.
So just explain to someone who's not an American. If someone gets to this 270 electorate, they win,
win.
right?
Yes.
Yep. So
What
right now,
happens if neither gets to 270?
Then the
Okay,
House of
right-
Representatives decides it.
Yeah.
And the House
Which
of
is what happened
Representatives
last time, right?
the House of Representatives is one of our legislative houses. It's the lower chamber, with the Senate being the upper chamber. And given that the House of Representatives is controlled by the Democratic Party, they would likely select Joe Biden as the president.
But
I
you see
see.
those
Now, and
many?
different states have different amounts of electorates, right?
Yes.
Do you see those light blue states in the middle? Michigan, Wisconsin, I think the other one's in Nevada. If those go for Biden, then Biden's going to have exactly 270.
Yes. And if those states are called for Biden, then I don't know if they will certify him as the winner, but he will be the projected winner of the presidential election at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. Because all it takes is for
The
one.
House of Representatives, that's the same as Congress, right?
Well, no, Congress is the House of Representatives and the Senate put together. That forms
Oh.
the Congress of the United States of America.
I see.
And you have the U.S. House of Representatives, which is the lower chamber, and the U.S. Senate, which is the upper chamber. We are a bicameral system, much like the United Kingdom, who has the House of Lords and the House of Commons.
Jesus, that's so complicated. We just have 150 Indians. And then we have this joke of what's the coldest place in Israel. It's the parliament because it's 120 below zero.
Huh.
Yep. You know something, guys? I've been alive for 25,505 days.
Wow.
I've been sober for 4,967 days. I don't know if I'm going to make 68.
Uh-oh.
Is this when we all go, we love you, Steve?
Huh?
Is this
I'm
where we
okay.
all like in tandem go? We love you, speed.
Yeah. I need a hug. I
Yeah,
need
Joe
a fucking hug.
Biden's only leading by roughly 30,000 votes in Michigan
Hey.
right now. 49.5 to 49 for Trump. 96% reporting.
I'm only
So,
30. Go ahead.
Where we
I don't know about like if methamphetamines would be helpful right now, but you might
Oh,
consider
no.
psychedelics.
Well, I recommended that already, so thank you, Minnie. I
No,
now
but
have.
I think if you take enough psychedelics, the
I'm-
states start
I'm
changing colors, right? So that might make you more optimistic.
Oh,
So
gotta
I-
love the Electoral College, right?
So I talked to Ian about moving to Australia last night. He said I think he invited me.
The only thing I won't recommend you do, Michael, is bath salts.
Is what?
Bath salts.
Oh. Well, I can't drink and I can't take any uppers, so that's all. So in 33 days, I'm going to be 5,000 days sober. How about that shit?
For whatever
Congrats.
reason, someone ended up taking bath salts and ended up cannibalizing another human being.
Yeah, bath salts are like fucking batshit crazy. It's like you may as well just go in the fucking go down below the sink and just start mixing fucking detergent and bleach. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't Trump recommend that?
Oh yeah, remember, he did
Maybe
recommend.
bleach. Hey, maybe try and inject bleach. Maybe that helps. It's good for. It has to be good for something.
That's my faith in this country died.
I've been sober for 119,178 hours. I need a fucking drink.
If you think that's impressive, just convert it into nanoseconds.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Were we going to read the Otangelo email?
I had
Is
it up
an
here.
Angelo email?
Is it even worth it?
Oh, it's
I would say it's not worth it because all he did is just cite his own blog, the same shit we've seen a million and a half times to refute somebody who's a PhD who's actively researching in the field, as if he's got anything that could refute like new info. Like it's ridiculous. The amount of mental masturbation these people have to engage in just to solidify their idiotic and obviously uninformed and oft refuted worldview is insane.
the level of
So we can see that there is a common designer, right? Something like that.
yeah, something like that. Otangelo's voice is really high pitched though, which is kind of bizarre.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can do intonations. I can't do voice impersonations, but I can do intonations. I pick up on accents and how people intone stuff, but I'm not good with voices.
How the fuck did Nancy Pelosi get her seat again? Like somebody just needs to shoot her, and Mitch McConnell, and Lindsey
Yeah,
Graham.
those two they could have
Leo, you can't say stuff like that on
I
YouTube.
just did.
Ixnay
Yeah,
on the
no, seriously. No. Seriously, that's can't be.
Oh yeah. This channel does not condone shooting anyone.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
No one is getting shot.
We
The
don't
only
like
thing we
bullets.
shoot is drugs.
But there's gonna be any fucking shooting, it's gonna be me doing the
The
shooting.
only thing we condemn doing shooting is with shooting drugs, and even then, we use clean needles sometimes.
I don't use needles. I don't
This
use
channel does not condone shooting drugs. This channel does not condone Leo or Immutable.
Or immutable. What?
You're the one that just brought up shooting drugs.
You think I would tell you I was going to do it before I do it?
I changed my channel profile picture, by the way.
Would you
Nice.
change?
Pretty fucking. Let me shut my camera off so you guys can see it. I mean, we should probably wait until we're done sharing this screen of bullshit, since you guys get a better look at it.
I thought Michael was going to summarize what that was.
Okay, yeah, Ian, we talked about you being banned. We showed your chats at the beginning of this. So we did. So Ian has street cred now because he got because he got things removed on Standing's channel.
Ooh, so in Michigan, Biden, and this is 11 minutes ago from 5:38. In Michigan, Biden holds a narrow 0.7 point margin. At 11:30 a.m. Eastern, the Secretary of State said there are still tens of thousands of ballots to count. The place that appears to have the most outstanding votes is heavily Democratic Wayne County.
Oh, let's hope. Let's fucking hope. I'm gonna go hide under my blanket.
Play a
We're
game of
basically
Russian
a bunch of
people.
retards.
Okay, what the? Do you want to go over this email? Do you have a copy of it, or can you read it?
I have a copy of it.
I can't really make it any bigger.
Lucky you.
I mean, his.
I mean, there's only, you don't need to say much about it to understand just like how,
Naive it is.
yeah, how stupid it is and how like just essentially this is just Otangelo like not reading and just replying his own rhetoric and complaints about ABio to Demeter again, even though Demeter said he would not respond to Otangelo.
Okay, so check out the first one. So Demeter has, as we have presented here, something about where information or algorithms are abstract and non-physical, right? Demeter was quoting from some other paper by, I think, what the hell is his name? I looked it up, and he's actually quoting from somebody else, but Otangelo made it look like that was what Demeter was saying. Demeter was not saying that, though me and Demeter do argue about the abstract and non-physical. And then so he comes up, thank you for confirming my point. This disproves Speed's claim. So because Demeter, in his paper, has a quote from another paper by an abiogenesis researcher, whose point he was making had nothing to do with information being abstract and non-physical, this disproves Speed's claim. Right? All you got to do is fucking cherry pick one quote out of a paper where another quote was picked, and that disproves a claim.
Did you guys not see Aaron Ra's recent video on creationist quote mining? Because this is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
He goes down on what's his face? Yeah. The Neff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nephilim.
And Nephi made a video saying
that was good.
Aaron Ra has to pull in all these scientists to refute me because he knows he has nothing. And I'm just like, no, it's just that he's going directly to relevant professionals who know more than him, who he understands know more than him, to refute you. But like Kenneth Miller is a Christian and just blew everything that Nephi was saying out of the fucking water.
Yeah, and if you really want to bury someone's idiotic claims, you go to the experts. You don't improvise.
So
But
then,
see, that's the thing.
Will
They
not pretend to be an expert on anything other than
think that
maybe
being an expert is wrong.
Well, they think Nephilim thinks he's an expert in everything. I mean,
which is part of the problem.
go ahead.
I'm saying that is part of the problem, that they think can know everything, whereas if you actually go to academia and at the beginning of that video, Aaron Ra talks about the Dunning-Kruger effect, and he says if you start actually studying, you become way more cautious with what you say, because you know that you know so little about your own field, let alone fields that you're not an expert in.
Yeah,
Modesty, hello.
Yeah,
holy fuck.
what's kind of impressive is you observe the exact opposite phenomenon in creationist camps. Like the people I've heard who make the most like bold claims are the people who oftentimes want to ask basic questions about those fields, don't understand shit about it.
Yep.
So YouTube won't let me say that Ian is a proper demonic hyena now.
I would just keep
Probably the
fucking
word
spamming
demonic
it
is
until
flag.
it appears.
Oh, it Streamlabs. It won't take it from Streamlabs, but it will take it from if I type it directly into YouTube.
We're still using Streamlabs.
Yeah.
I just about those algorithms. Look, okay, yes, an algorithm is basically abstract, but it exists in a brain which is physical and is worked out either in your mind, which is physical, or in action, which is still physical.
Fucked if I know why people are still even suggesting.
Like if
That
you build a
there's some
computer algorithm, it's electricity.
They think that it's ontologically non-physical. There is no such thing as ontologically non-physical. That's what
So-
they don't get. It's like this fuck. Anyway, so the second
Ontological
point,
is
Huh?
wait, ontological means that it exists,
right?
Yeah.
right?
Ontological refers to the nature of being.
Nature of being.
So whether
Yeah, so
something
they're saying
exists,
that-
how it exists, all that stuff.
The nature
So
or
they're
essence
saying
of
that-
being, essentially.
That
And, yeah,
algorithm.
abstract. Mental things have no fucking ontological being or concrete existence. They are just fucking mental concepts that humans use. And it has to do with humans. We're just a little gob of fucking goo on a dust ball floating in the middle of a vast universe. And what we
Yeah, dude.
fucking think means fuck all. You know? We can't even elect
But
a
also-
fucking...
Yeah. All of our experiences are pretty much hallucinations. The fact that we hallucinated hard enough to get quantum mechanics says a lot.
Yeah,
you
but
shall show up
also like we build these abstractions on the physical reality that we actually know.
Yep.
We create the abstractions. We don't go into like like this Platonist mind universe and pull out algorithms from way over there. we abstract from the physical. So
You know-
in that sense, you can go into the whole man created God thing, but we
That
form
conversation-
these abstractions.
The conversation deserves a facepalm. The abstract and non-physical conversation about information and all of that. I mean, sometimes I just give the fuck up. I don't know. Anyway, the next point he makes is so Demeter says that it's not clear what forces establish this relationship, and then on top, Jello's reply is, of course. Materialists don't have an answer, but we do. It's the Bible.
Well,
That's all he said.
What's hypocritical about his own method, right, is that the Bible doesn't deny materialism. It just says that there's something more to that. It says that there's an extra component of like spirituality and some kind of spiritual dimension that interacts with the physical. So you don't have, it turns out to be the case, you actually don't have a model of your own, right? You're borrowing from the materialist worldview, and wherever there's gaps, you're saying that's a god. But the issue is that one, like the way we're trying to answer it is different than the way that you're trying to answer it. And you're not happy with our materialistic explanation, and so you're just calling it nonsense without actually providing scientific for that.
But if you go just, I'm not familiar with the New Testament, but if you go just by the Old one, no, there's nothing non-physical about it. It doesn't, nowhere does it say that things are not physical. Like
doesn't.
when, like the Mount Sinai, when God comes down on the mountain, everyone sees the voices. Like it's a physical experience. There's no afterlife. There's no soul in the Old Testament. There's no heaven. There's no hell.
Yeah.
The spiritual dimension is not there in the Old Testament. It's very physical, actually.
Well, and God always presents himself in a physical form. Like he presents himself. Yeah, I mean he presents himself like before I believe it was the mother of Moses in the form of like a burning bush. He revealed himself to the
Hey, Leo, he said bush.
Okay.
he revealed himself to the Israelites escaping from Egypt by several means, by pillar of fire, and other things like. I mean,
Fire, pillar of smoke. God walks in the garden. God talks to people. There's nothing, at least in the Old Testament, that in any way implies the spiritual.
Yeah, you just don't see it. I mean, until you hit the New Testament.
You mean immaterial spiritual? I basically have a different idea of what spiritual means. Spiritual is a feeling or a set of feelings that human beings have day to day. We all do.
The spiritual.
Okay, so just
Go
to
ahead.
make it clear, when I said there's nothing spiritual in it, what I
You meant-
meant was there's nothing like extra dimensional or like in that sense. I meant spiritual,
Yeah.
not
I
in the
have a-
sense of, yes.
I have
Thank
a
you for that.
different definition of spiritual that's based on breath or breathing or wind or
That's where the word spirit came
just
from.
what it is.
Like the way that Aaron Ra clarifies what people thought spirit was is accurate. They knew that, well, people could breathe, but they couldn't obviously see our fucking atmosphere. So they
Right.
thought it was this spiritually magicy woo-woo shit that's just in the air everywhere all the time, because they knew that anybody who is alive is breathing. If you stop somebody from breathing, they die, and anybody who's dead isn't breathing. So this air must be this thing, the breath of life. That must be the thing that gives us life, and it must be some magicy, woo-woo-y shit that's just floating around there. And so they thought that the soul or that a spirit was air, essentially.
And that's why in a lot of Eastern religion meditation practices, they tell you to breathe.
Mhm.
Just fucking
Yeah.
breathe. Don't think, breathe. Shut the fuck up and breathe. And then chop wood. Anyway, so Otangelo goes on and says, okay, the leader says, the mechanism for the transition of informational storage is rooted in the process of Darwinian evolution itself. And Jello says, how is this possible? If biological information depends on the hardware and the software, fully operational and in place. Well, it fucking doesn't, Jello. So
Well,
do we have anybody that can imitate Jello really well?
Well, here's the
Marvin
here's
Martin.
the other thing, right? It's that it's not like Jell-O. It's not at all the case that Demeter might have sent you the paper being referenced, and that paper might contain the answers
Right.
you're asking for. That's totally not the case, right? It's totally not the case that Demeter's presenting his own model, and that you actually have to read something to comprehend that. That can't possibly be the case.
Well, did you guys see how fast Otangelo replied this email to what
Yeah,
Demeter said?
3 hours.
There's absolutely no way he read that paper and fully disseminated all of the information in it, understood it, cross-referenced it with anything that he might have questioned to produce a well-thought-out response that actually addresses the substance of the literature that he's addressing. He heard it, he saw it, maybe skimmed through it to look for some quotes and stuff, and already knew, well, this I don't agree with the conclusions of this, so therefore it's wrong, and then decided to make some big ass response because that's all they ever do.
I can personally tell you.
When I was younger, I worked for an ISP, and I had to reply to mails from the clients. So we had a template. We just sort of like scanned quickly what they were talking about, and then we would copy it. We would simply reply with the appropriate template. It was rare that we actually typed anything. So that's what Otangelo is doing. He basically has a template, and he gives template answers.
And here's the thing: like, as a person that understands like chemistry and biology to a very like somewhat decent but technical level, I can tell you I couldn't read that much content because there's 18 pages worth of like material and 6 worth of references, approximately. I can't read that quickly, that much. I can't read that much information that quickly, let alone have referenced like a few of the having looked into some of the references that are being used in that paper and forming like a response or a well-articulated opinion on that paper. And you can say that if a person like who understands partially the field can't do that, then sure as shit Otangelo can't.
They're not trying to. They're just
Jello
trying to
blocked in too.
dishonestly, quote unquote, substantiate their position, and still failing at it miserably.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because the thing is, when you read the rest of Otangelo's little spiel here, because we're not going to read it all here. This is just kind of like a teaser.
Yeah, it's a long spiel.
Yeah, it's just every point he makes,
Yeah.
every last one of them, has been addressed by Demeter thoroughly.
He puts a cat's board thing here that's like,
Yeah, it's his own personal blog. He only ever cites to his own personal blog. Rarely does he cite professional sources, and when he does, they do not ever say what he says that they say or what he thinks they say.
yeah. He just copy paste shit, and it's amazing. Ian Chen got blocked by Otangelo, and I think one of the things about Ian is that, like, while we get into the minutia and we start talking about genetics and all this bullshit, Ian Chen just calls the bullshit straight up on the surface, and they fucking hate him for that. Because he just.
I had one interaction more or less with Otangelo, like in comments. He bombarded me with this huge comment, all quotes, all saying there a problem, difficulty, hard, not yet solved. And he thinks that actually says that there are no answers out there, and evolution and abiogenesis are collapsing because someone said we have a problem.
Yeah, it is textbook commission of the argument from ignorance.
So think about the structure, the meta structure of a debate with a creationist. They will go on and they'll do the spiel and they'll come up with all their little bits of evidence, and then they will say, evolutionists have to explain how this happened. And then we take the bait and start to try to explain it. But in order to explain it, we would have to study for the rest of our lives, right?
Well, the problem is these creationists, when they're in debates, they're never on the defensive because they know they can't be on the defensive. That's what you have to do. Like what I did with Neffy in our debate. Put him on the defensive instead of being yourself on the defense the entire time. They don't have a position that can be defended. So what they do is they try to point out all these problems or supposed problems in evolutionary theory or abiogenesis research or what have you, and say, well, how do you explain this? How do you explain this? How do you explain this? If you don't have an answer, it's all wrong. What you need to do is say, well, okay, well, how do you explain it on your model? Account for the data that we have on your model. Give us theoretical frameworks based in mathematics, based in observation. How do you explain it? You're claiming our model can't explain it. Okay, well, then how do you explain it? They have no other explanation. Well, God did it, which isn't an explanation. It's a baseless assertion that is rooted in something that's never been observed, measured, detected, verified, or meaningfully interacted with in any shape, in any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
Yeah. When Otangelo's mad at you, he just how to be saved text at you. Yeah. If he gets mad enough, he'll start talking about the Bible and how, you need to be saved and all this bullshit. Oh, Nathan, you poofed back in.
Just to draw an example, notice how flat earthers never present a model for the flat earth, how it accounts for the data, the formalizations of it, observations that it makes, predictions that it makes. Creationists do the same thing. When you don't have a model, you're never on the defense, you're only on the offense. You're only attacking the current model and claiming that it fails, but not actually offering a substantive replacement of it, because you don't have one, and then thereby claiming that, well, because your model is false, that in and of itself makes mine correct, which again is by textbook definition commission of the argument from ignorance fallacy.
Yeah, it's like you have to, if you ask them like stuff, people have asked them, was entropy around in paradise before the fall? And they go like, or you ask them, so people lived 900 years, so their genetics was completely different. Where did their genetics change?
Yep.
They can't answer any of that, obviously.
Demeter, I put a link up. I give you a link? It's in chat. Can you get it from chat? invite. I'll try Gmail. I think I said.
I have to go. Hopefully, talk to you the next time when you're ruled by Biden and not by the Orange Man.
Well, we don't have a
Oh
rule.
my God. Anxiety. You had to remind me.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
up all night. So I don't. Actually, it's not your night. It's my night. I don't know. I'm up until 6 in the morning.
You had to remind me.
Okay, guys, I'm here.
I'll be back.
Okay. Later.
No, actually, it's not your night. It's my night. I don't know. I'm up until.
So, somebody's got their sound down. Yeah. Oh, okay, Demeter, you're hooking it up.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
What up?
Hello.
Hello. So, are we gonna do a thing this weekend?
Okay, I'm here. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Finally,
Okay.
I'm hearing.
Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do that Q&A thing this weekend? Demeter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally, I'm hearing.
Oh, you're echoing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
close the
your,
YouTube browser.
So this weekend, it's a good. I can come, but there is some delay for some reason.
Yeah. Yep, we have a delay. StreamYard has been screwing up this morning, so I got a funny feeling that it's them and their server.
Oh, is Meter playing the video in the background?
Yeah, I think you're playing the video in the background somewhere, or somebody is. Because we can hear an echo, or we can hear ourselves.
Yeah, I can hear an echo in the background.
Demeter, do you have your sound on your computer or something? Or
Okay, I will block. I will stop it. Okay.
Okay.
Now, is it okay now?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Oh, sorry, guys.
No,
So I have just approximately 15 minutes at the moment because I just stepped out for a lunch from my work, from my lab at the moment.
Yeah.
But I saw you're discussing the new paper.
Yeah.
I don't have any response in my email from you. So as I see, there is some response, and who actually reply here?
Jello.
Oh, Jello. Okay.
Jello replied.
Can you send me this reply? I'm just curious.
Oh, he didn't send it to you?
No, he didn't.
Oh my God.
I don't have any answers.
He blocked you.
All right, I gotta go backstage. Bring me back in.
Okay. So bring you back in now?
Okay, so let's before because I have to go. Because I have to go after 10 minutes, for example, I just want to say that let's set up something this weekend. I prefer to be around, let me say, after 3 o'clock.
Okay. Saturday? Saturday?
Doesn't matter, Saturday or Sunday, whatever it's work for you. Probably Saturday is fine.
Okay.
After 3 o'clock, and you can invite also, don't forget to invite guys that the new one that's already your new friends.
Yeah. Yeah. OSIAD or OSIDE. Yeah. Or outside. Outside.
And in addition to that, I can say it will not be a lecture this time. We'll just discussing questions and answers. I don't want to go over to make the lectures.
Yep.
Not going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, a Q&A might be good. Maybe we can drill into some of the little details. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been busier than hell lately, so I haven't gotten a lot done on modeling. But I did manage to get that package up, and I'm trying to get it to run in Anaconda Notebook. It's just all technical details. But anyway, so I'm working on it. But I have been so busy. It's incredible.
Okay. So, I mean, sounds good. Send me this answer, this reply, because I just wonder to what extent some people can go in order to defend beliefs, not the science.
Right.
So,
You want me to turn that? Okay.
but that's it. So we'll meet each other and we'll discuss all the origin of life and abio this weekend. So you decide, Mike, when it's good for you.
Okay, probably 4 p.m. on Saturday. So,
That sounds good to me.
yeah, what's good for me is always to know in advance when I'm doing something, and then I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can do any time as long as I have advance warning. So I'm trying
Yeah,
to
you have to take a nap first, probably.
Yes, exactly. I always have to take a nap first. Because I fall asleep like if I don't have any warning, I'll just suddenly get drowsy and fall asleep within 15 minutes. I've been that way for years. It's pretty amazing. I used to do that while I was driving my car, which turned out to be a very bad thing.
Yeah. Okay, so see you Saturday.
Okay, good enough.
Good to see you.
Okay, send me a link and whatever it's necessary.
I forwarded that email to you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, and I'll get the show set up hopefully today, and I will send links out to everybody shortly before we do it. But 4 p.m. Central Time Saturday, or wait a minute, if we did it at 3 p.m. What the fuck time would that be? So 4 p.m. your time? How about that?
My time is okay, 4 o'clock.
Okay, so 3 p.m. Central we're doing it. Central
3
time.
p.m. Center is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if we still have a world MP3.
Also, Mike, you can distribute the email for the new paper with all of the text in all the guys that you know it will be interesting.
Okay.
I already sent this email to some of our folks, to Immutable, to Leo Phillies, all of us. But you know more of them, so you can distribute to more people.
Okay.
Don't forget Dr. Dan.
Yeah.
I wish him to be to come Saturday for discussion.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can get them. I will try to warn everybody, so I need to do that today. Okay.
Okay, see you guys. I'm leaving now.
So,
Okay.
All right, take care. Enjoy your work.
I will. Okay,
Easier
bye.
said than done.
Yeah.
So Ian thinks we're coal miners in Minnesota.
Uh-oh. Gonna have to set that boy straight.
I met a guy on Facebook whose name was also Ian with the same last name as mine, and he was from California, and he said, "Oh, my grandpa came from Minnesota. I think he was a coal miner." And I said, it turned out to be my uncle George, and I said he was a fucking iron miner. Mine fucking coal in Minnesota.
oh well, Joe Biden's now leading in Michigan by almost a point.
Oh, God help us all. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have is Brainbug still around? I have a big beetle that's been hanging onto my ceiling for about 2 days now. I'm going to go grab him and throw him under my microscope. That'll teach a motherfucker.
Good afternoon.
How's it going?
Hey, Brenda.
It's going fine.
Oh, what's up, Brenda?
At least you and Speed get to live in a blue state or a state that went blue.
Oh my God! And the Iron Range actually went for Biden. I was surprised because it was close at that.
I just wanted to address what Ian said. Yes, if Biden takes Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada, which is the most likely option, he will win with exactly 270 electoral votes. The only other way that would disappear is if one of Maine's districts goes to Trump, and then Trump takes Pennsylvania. Then it'll be 269. We'll go to the House of Representatives, which will vote. Being a Democratic majority House, Joe Biden will still win.
Hopefully. But will he win? They may have to have a mud wrestling contest at the White House.
Oh, dude, no, I'm sorry. If it came down to like a literal fight of some sort, Biden would beat Trump. Trump is way too out of shape. Dude, he's a rich guy. Rich, you know how the saying goes, aristocrats tend to have weak chins.
Yeah, well, Colbert had an amazing cartoon on Showtime last night where he showed Biden and Trump were going to face off and fight, and Trump was coming down the ramp from Air Force One, one little step at a time, wobbling. It was funny.
If they fought, it'd be like that scene on Family Guy where Herbert is fighting the old Nazi guy that he fought back from World War II. It would play out like that scene.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So, Brenda, what's up?
Recovering from last night.
Oh, fuck.
What happened? You went on Smokey's channel?
No. No.
It's a joke.
Did Smokey finally get the better of Brenda?
No, that would be the night before. Last night was stress-inducing.
Last night
It's better today. It's better today. I think Wisconsin might actually go blue. When all
I had heard that Wisconsin was essentially called for Biden, but I'm not seeing AP do anything with it. So
yeah, I watched David Pakman's live stream, and it's very good. I haven't seen what David Pakman has said yet today. He's probably still asleep or something.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead, Leo.
No, you finish.
Okay. A couple days ago, I did go on Smokey's live stream, and a lot of foul language, a lot of name calling, but that's to be expected, and it's water off of my back, and I just embarrassed him. They brought up about some stuff about, well, he said a lot of dumb things. I actually just asked the question, what did he think about the Pope saying it is possible for atheists?
Am I the only person who can't hear Brenda? Or
I guess so.
Yeah,
can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
If you're on mobile, sometimes
okay. Let me refresh.
Yeah, sometimes there are bugs, particularly if you're on mobile. That will. But so I brought up the Pope thing, and what the Pope said was actually fairly nuanced. The Pope said, "I do not presume God's grace." And so if an atheist honestly and earnestly seeks God and yet does not find him, I'm not going to limit God's grace and say that God cannot admit that atheist into heaven simply because he earnestly sought God, didn't find him, but that doesn't prevent, at least in the Pope's eyes, that atheist from getting to heaven. That's a fairly nuanced theological position, but you can imagine what I got from that group is just he's not even a Christian. I mean,
I've never understood that argument because evangelism, or which is a branch of Protestantism, came from Catholicism. It just it makes no sense.
It's like in the name, I protest.
Yeah. And the thing is that people like Martin Luther and even whatever the fuck his name was that started the Mormon Church, I can't think of it right now.
Joseph
yeah, there we go. I almost said Matt Smith, but I don't want to fucking talk about that, Tory. Yeah, these guys would look at modern day evangelicals and be like, "Yeah, you're so dumb when you say Catholics aren't Christians." It's like it's not that we don't think that they're Christians; we just don't agree with how they go about Christianity.
Oh, and then I just said, well, you saying the Pope is not a Christian is a no true Scotsman fallacy because it is. And so Smokey goes on this long tirade about how he has disproved or called into question debunked the no true Scotsman fallacy because reasons. I don't know. I couldn't understand his explanation.
Which the funny thing is anytime they say Catholics aren't Christians, all you have to say is, well, great, then Christianity is not the largest religion on the planet anymore. Islam would be.
Right. Yeah, they do like to do a little infighting.
And then just ask: Are you willing to admit that under your definition of Christianity, that Islam is now the largest religion on the planet? Watch them squirm.
They talk about imagination and evolution when they read the scriptures, and you listen to them all come up with a different viewpoint. It takes a lot of imagination to read the Bible. I mean, you come up with a lot of shit.
Yeah. I can't believe Georgia is more of a toss-up than fucking Pennsylvania is.
Well,
wow.
Take a look at this bubble graph. This is really cool. They keep updating it as the count comes in, and they move shit over. It's really neat.
All I'm saying is Biden has to win Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada, and he's got to keep all the electoral votes in Maine. Otherwise, it's going to be tied. If he wins those 3 states and keeps all the electoral votes in Maine, which I think he probably will, then he'll win with exactly 270.
How close is Maine?
I don't know. It's one of Maine's districts. I can't remember which. Their second district, maybe.
He's up 7 points.
In that district, I'm not talking about the whole state. You can't go by the whole state. You have to go by the district in that state, because that's how Maine divides up their electoral votes.
Oh, really?
Same way Nebraska does.
That's bad.
Maine is ME, by the way. It's probably going to be one of those smaller dots with no letters in it.
Yeah, they don't get a letter. They don't rate a letter. Minnesota has a letter. There's Maine at large. Why do they call it at large?
I don't know.
Huh.
Okay, this is telling me nothing.
Tells
This
you
is telling me nothing.
Biden. Yeah, but it doesn't tell you anything about.
What the fuck is this? It's not what I'm looking for.
Anyway. What's happening? Oh no, somebody disappeared.
Well, see, this is weird because go the fuck away. They're essentially calling. Most places have already called the whole state of Maine for Biden, so I don't understand.
Yeah,
why people are talking about it.
Well, they called it real early last night. I mean, it was very early. I think that means. I don't know. Anyway, oh my God, this is just too. I'm just kind of sick. I was sick last night. So I ended up staying up, I don't know, really late, and then I got up again at 3. And I made the mistake of looking at my phone, and I just leapt out of bed. So I stayed up till like 6:37 and tried to go back to sleep, and then Mutable woke me up for this goddamn thing. So not in a very good shape today. Today, bad day. So nobody's burned any cities down or anything, so that's good.
No,
it's because nobody's won. But if and when Trump loses, oh God.
Yeah.
But we got to watch out for Antifa. We got to watch out for those Antifa protesters running the Biden bus off the road. Oh wait, no, that's Trump supporters, isn't it? My bad.
Yep.
Well, it's been shown, right, Speed, that the people that burned down, what was it, 3rd Precinct Police Station were militia people, not
Did they actually? They confirmed that? They actually confirmed that?
A lot of the
I don't know about confirmation.
A lot of the arson and rioting and the looting was started by either A, cops, or B, right wingers trying to stir shit up so that they could tie it to the left wing protesters.
Yeah. Yep. So Brenda, what do you think of the fucking numbers of COVID cases in Minnesota?
The number of what? I didn't hear.
COVID cases we've had in the last week. It went up to like what the hell was it yesterday? It was like 3,500 in one day. I mean, we're going nuts here. I was
not good. Not good.
I'm scared to go anywhere. I basically risk a trip to Sam's Club every 2 weeks, but I go at like 8 in the morning when there's only about 5 people in there, and it still scares the shit out of me. But this is getting weirder and worse. I mean, it's like we're at like yesterday we were at 7 times what we were doing back in August.
Well, it's almost like we're not doing anything about it.
Well, fuck. No, I had a pizza delivery guy from Domino's show up at the door with no mask, and he wants to hand me the pizza. And we did a no contact delivery. And I was on the other side of the door with a window, and I just pointed downward, and he said, oh, and he backed off. It's like, how many fucking idiots live? How many idiots are there? It's just like, God, guys. You know, Ian was telling me in Australia, I guess they're down to, in Melbourne, I think they're down to 0 cases every day because they had a significant lockdown.
Recently, that exposure to COVID does confer a long time immunity.
Oh, good.
It popped up in my feed. I don't have the link on me, but
so if that's true, eventually we're going to be done with this. And the more idiots out there, the more idiots there are that aren't me, the better for me.
I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. And I believe it was on the Reddit subreddit of Our Science. But
yeah, look at this. So because of a stringent lockdown and decent leadership, even though it was a little tough on the Australians, 5 consecutive days with 0 cases. And we're shooting up like a goddamn fucking Labrador's boner. I don't know where I got that metaphor, but it just came to my head and I had to say it. Oh, shit. Anyway. Beautiful weather. That's the only good thing about this weekend. So we lost Immutable. We lost Leo. Nathan's quiet. So anyway, we were going over Otangelo and his respawn. Are you familiar with Demeter? The guy that was on.
I don't know who Demeter is. I know Otangelo.
Okay, Demeter he wrote 3 papers on abiogenesis. He's a researcher. He's a geneticist, molecular biologist. He's the real deal. He's working in abiogenesis. And he's going to be on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Time on our show doing a Q&A on his papers. Anyway, him and Otangelo have had their, I think they did like 3-4 hours together before Demeter finally gave up on Otangelo, before he realized Otangelo was not listening to a thing he said. And so anyway.
Otangelo is I think there's some serious real issues going on there.
Well, you know, I've noticed that in a number of them. I've noticed like with even Salvador Cordova, who I love, and Standing for Truth. When you get right down to how they think, they're not. You know, intelligence is a bad measure. It's thinking skill, and I think a lot of people, I think about 50% of the people in this country completely lack the ability to think through a problem and come up with
cognitive apprehension skills.
Solution. Yeah. I mean, really.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm face palming all the time.
I think so. I think that one of the things that the internet has done has made that worse. Because people are able, I mean, it's something that we've known for a long time. It's confirmation bias. It's the fact that people will seek out evidence that confirms their views and ignore or reject evidence that disconfirms it. And the internet has only made that worse. And so we really need
I just came up with a name for it.
Yeah, we really need critical thinking skills taught at an early age. If we could get rid of one thing, it would be, I did the research does not equal you Googling something. That is not research. Google is not research.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, what do you think of my name for it? Headline thinking. You know, you think in terms of the headlines you see on the internet. Kind of what they do.
Yeah, that's something you can get from a lot of the apologists, even the so-called inspiring philosophy is notorious for just reading the abstract. If that.
Well, Ian got thrown off he got his comments removed from Standing for Truth's channel by pointing out that the 2 papers that he put up didn't say anything related to what he was talking about. Didn't back him up at all. And so Standing removed his comments, which is pretty interesting.
Well, that's why I kind of think that some of them might be just grifters.
Oh, abstract. We could call that abstract thinking. Just reading the abstract. You know, in the abstract is always where a scientist is humble and says, we don't know this, and this is a problem, and that's a problem. And then and that's just the teaser for the paper where they go ahead and explain what their solution to the problem is, you know?
Of course, there is another problem, which is that university publicity departments have a tendency to title their releases in clickbait form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clickbait. Yeah.
There's also the problem of paywalls. I think paywalls should be outlawed. I'm sorry, they should be. If scientists were more open about their work and made their work more available and more palatable to a lay audience, you might have more scientifically inclined individuals in this country.
Yep.
And of course, God bless Sabine Hassenfeder.
I do not know who that is.
What was that?
God bless Sabine Hassenfelder.
Oh yes, God, I love her. Holy shit!
She calls bullshit on her own fellow physicists, and I love it.
Oh, her stuff is so good, and she even has some decent music videos, which really put.
She's artistically talented. She's got some artistic talent. Yeah, she
is just wonderful. Do you know that?
What was the name again?
Sabine Hoffenstetter.
I don't even know how to spell that.
God, I gotta find it. I'm surprised I don't have it in my list of things.
She's got a German accent, and she's an actual working physicist, and she says things like, you know, that the physicists at CERN are a little bit too worried about their jobs and stuff, and a lot of some of the stuff they do might be sort of like not really worth the effort.
That's what I thought. Like, they're working on certain particle interactions here, and I'm just like, why? Like, why? I mean, I can understand Higgs interactions because it's albeit slim, but there's a chance we might learn something about dark matter there. But some of the ones in sort of like the what is it? I think it's like the ion positron collider or something like that, or electron positron collider. That's the one where we need to be doing some more research on if we want to learn more about matter. If we think we've got matter figured out, then shut it down and go move on to something else. There's also a lot of work that comes out of CERN that is just over sensationalized.
Okay, I'm having trouble finding that channel. Damn it, and I'm subscribed to it, and I always.
I got it here.
Okay, can you put it in chat? I got to give you a wrench, don't I? Where are you? Do you have a wrench yet? Okay, I don't see where you are, Brenda. I can't give you a wrench unless you make a comment.
I have a wrench, and I posted a link in both chats.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, it's just wonderful. I mean, videos are just excellent. There it is. And
she's working on quantum gravity. Noise. Freaking noise.
Doesn't she work at the LHC or something like that?
LHC? No. I don't know. I'm finding out.
Somewhere.
She's a research fellow at the Frankfurt Institute for Advanced Studies, where she leads the superfluid dark matter group.
Yep. Quite. Her videos are. You'd love her videos, Leila.
I've seen some of her videos on YouTube.
Yep. She goes through a lot of stuff.
Her accent is totally ASMR, and I just absorb every fucking thing she says.
Yep. Pretty good. Music videos. Where the hell's the one? God. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. Series of videos. There was one she does. Okay, the Galaxy song by Monty Python. It's just excellent. Can I share it? Just great physics videos too. But when I saw these, I was like, okay, I think I'm in love. I couldn't believe it.
Ian makes a good point here in the chat.
Ian made a point
that he says the Catholic Church believes in the Higgs boson from the very beginning. They realize, well, yeah. The thing about the Catholic Church is they are more. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I'm gonna have to Google it because I'm looking for a specific motherfucking word here, and I hate not being able to use it.
Science friendly?
They are more amicable. They are more amicable to the science than evangelicals and a lot of the Protestants are. And I think that's part of the reason why the Protestants would like the Vatican literally has their own commissioned physicists and chemists that do research on shit.
You know why that is? You know why that is, Leo?
Why is it? I mean, I have my ideas, but I think you'll probably know more about it than I do.
The Jesuits.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Jesuits. It's
Really?
it's a conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Of
The Jesuits are, the Jesuits are big into research, dude. Some of Jesuit schools, dude. There's a lot of secular. I should say secular-minded people, which doesn't mean atheists. It just means you don't tend to think in religious ways. There's a lot of secular stuff that comes out of there. A lot of seculars that go there. Yeah, Jesuits. Oh yeah, they're big on research.
Let me play the beginning of this music video just to tell if he gets into it. And then you guys can watch it on your own. It'll make me happy, and I need to be made happy this morning. You hear it okay?
Whenever life gets you down, Mrs. Brown, and things seem hard or tough,
Mute yourself.
people are stupid,
Oh,
obnoxious,
shit.
or daft.
Oh, I did something wrong.
No, just mute yourself because there's an echo coming from the video and from your mic.
Right, okay, so I will mute myself. Where am I? Okay.
And you feel like you've had quite enough. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. That's orbiting at 90 miles a second, so it's reckoned a sun that is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day. In an outer spiral arm at 40,000 miles an hour, in a galaxy we call the Milky Way.
You're still muted, Speed, if you're trying to talk.
I wasn't really trying. I'm trying now, though. Yeah. Anyway, watch the rest of that. She's just awesome. I mean, and her physics stuff is so cool. And
There's another one on Twitter. She's Australian, or at least she lives in Australia. So I hope I'm not butchering her name. I think it's Heloise Stevens, and she is fucking brilliant too. She makes really quick clips that are informative, palatable, educational, and I'm just like, yes, I'm here for it.
Can you possibly put a link in chat for us?
Don't you just go on Twitter? Aren't you a Twitterite?
What's a? I don't twit.
Tweet?
I don't do twit. I'm not a twit. I hate fucking Twitter. I can't find anything on that. It's the worst way to communicate.
I don't know how to pull a link.
It's just a bunch
to her account.
What?
I said I don't know how to pull a link from her account.
Well, can you?
I'll just put her Twitter handle in the private chat, and you can search it.
Okay, so I mean, does she have a YouTube channel?
I don't know. I doubt it.
Oh, okay, so it's a twit thing. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like Twitter because it's just a pile of shit that just flows in one straight line.
Well, everybody bitches about Twitter, and those people have obviously never spent 5 minutes on fucking Facebook.
Facebook sucks, dude.
Facebook is just racist boomer land. Twitter is just a bunch of meme lords edgily posting memes all day long.
I could design software where you would always know how to find things, where things were, how things were organized, how a thread worked, what a response to a fucking thread was. You wouldn't have this big pile of streamy shit. It's just like, God. Nobody asked me.
Oh my god, that was funny. I was watching a video where Miley comes out on stage and she's like, they tried to kill this bitch. They tried to kill me. And the guy posted, he's like, mail-in ballots right now. And I'm just like, oh shit. Oh man, some of this stuff is just really funny. Funny. It's so funny. What?
What's a Miley?
Shut up.
Huh?
I said shut up.
Okay, what's a Miley? I don't know what a Miley
I don't
is.
know. If you don't know who Miley is, when I say Miley, then you really have problems.
You mean that country music person?
Well, she's not country music anymore.
Well, yeah, she went pop, didn't she?
Yeah, you're thinking of Hannah Montana, which was the country music sort of personification, the personification of the country music. Miley Cyrus, yes, Billy Ray Cyrus' daughter,
Okay. Yeah.
who I would get high with any day of the week. Dude, she outsmoked Wiz Khalifa. And he straight up admitted it on Twitter, like she outsmoked him.
I really appreciated how she blossomed after she turned 18. She just threw the whole country music thing down the fucking toilet.
Oh yeah, because there ain't as much money in country music as there is in pop. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I like me my country music, but that's why country music has sort of been popified, if you know what I mean, in the modern age, where it's more country pop, because country music just doesn't sell like it used to. It just doesn't.
Yep. So a couple country songs I like. One is by Ween, and I linked it to Ian.
Did you just say Wing, like W-I-N-G, Wing?
No, Ween, W-E-E-N.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Country song by Ween.
I thought you said by Ween.
They have a country song called "Piss Up a Rope."
Huh.
That's pretty excellent. And then the other one I love is the one what the fuck? God will fuck you up or whatever. Have you guys heard any of these?
No. When I think of country music, dude, I'm thinking like Garth Brooks, George Strait, Alan Jackson. You know, people like, you know, that actually sing real good country music.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Stoney LaRue.